The shuttle doors slid open and cold, sterilized air rushed in. Rhea Solis stepped onto the landing platform of Aurora Prime Academy, the most prestigious interspecies institution in the galaxy. Above her, orbiting rings shimmered like stacked halos, reflecting the pale light of the planet's twin moons. She adjusted the strap of her pack and walked forward, boots thudding lightly against the polished surface. The material felt strange, lightweight, flexible, built from some composite that didn't exist on Earth. The moment the aliens noticed her, whispers exploded. Deathworlder. Is that the human? She looks compressed, like her bones are dense. Rhea ignored the comments as she had been trained to. Earth prepared her for this. Emotional restraint, posture control, controlled breathing. If she showed discomfort, they would feed on it. Humans were the predators here. Whether she liked it or not, she kept walking. An administrator hovered toward her on an anti-grav disc, a pale, translucent being with floating internal organs and 6 eyes. Rhea recognized the species, Selnari, known for emotional sensitivity and academic brilliance. Rhea Solis, welcome, it said, voice harmonizing like wind chimes. You will follow me to Orientation Bay 3. Your data indicates that you come from Earth. The Council has accepted your enrollment pending physical evaluations. Rhea nodded. I've reviewed the requirements. The Selnari stared at her face. Humans are unusual. Your eyes hold storms. She didn't respond. Compliments and insults sounded the same to her here, assumptions without understanding. They entered the Academy's central hub, a cathedral-like atrium suspended in air. Transparent floors exposed the ocean far below, alien fish glowing like drifting lanterns. Delicate students from low-gravity worlds stepped lightly, as if the ground were optional. Rhea walked as if gravity wasn't her enemy. It never was. A weight slammed into her shoulder. Not accidental. Watch it, Mudspawn. The voice came from someone tall and elegant. Tyrek Valcor, a Zephyrian. His silvery skin shimmered like metal, and his hollow bones gave him a long, sharp silhouette. He looked built for altitude and arrogance. Rhea stepped aside. Excuse me? Tyrek turned, eyes narrowing. That's your response? Excuse me? His tone carried both disbelief and contempt. You ran into me, Rhea answered calmly. The nearby students snickered. She talked slowly. Is that a brain limitation or an evolutionary flaw? Tyrek leaned closer, breath cold. Why is a Deathworld primitive here? This academy selects the finest minds, not animals who learned tool use recently. Rhea inhaled slowly, through her nose and let the breath out, evenly. Do not react. Earth's instructors drilled this into her humanity held too much force in every motion. A shove from her could shatter alien cartilage. A punch could break bones. She turned toward the administrator. Orientation Bay 3? The Selnari gestured nervously. Just ahead. As she walked, she could still feel Tyrek's stare, sharp as a knife. The first class of the day was physical aptitude evaluation, a baseline assessment to measure strength, reaction speed, and tolerance to stress. For most students, this was a formality. For Rhea, it was a trap. The Academy had added a final test after they learned she was human, grav density resilience. In other words, let's see how hard we have to push before the human breaks. The training hall resembled a stadium, with platforms rising like stepped altars. A large sign read, Gravity range 0.5G, 6G, warning. Values above 3G may cause organ stress or bone fracture. Rhea stared at the number. Earth's gravity was 1 Joule. Her personal training load back home? Sex every morning, students gathered in bleachers, whispering and recording. Rhea stepped onto the first platform, waiting for instructions. The instructor, a 4-armed reptilian named Drath, activated a wrist panel. Each student will stand on the platform until they reach their gravity threshold. You may tap out verbally or collapse. We will record. Tyrek leaned back in the crowd, smiling like a stage villain waiting for the curtain to rise. The first students attempted the test. A delicate avian collapsed at 1.4 G, wings crumpling. A bulky, mineral-skinned Bruntari reached 2.8 G, roaring with pride before he dropped. A soft cheer erupted. Then the instructor looked at Rhea. Human, step up. The crowd quieted, eager for spectacle. Rhea stood at the center. The sensor under her detected her mass and density. Warning, structural load abnormal. Ensure platform integrity. Tyrek laughed. Based on her mass, she'll break a vertebrae at 1.2 G. Rhea rolled her shoulders. I'm ready. The instructor activated the control. 1 G, 1.5 G students gasped. Rhea didn't move. Is she bracing? No, she's just standing there. 2 GA, few aliens shifted uncomfortably, bones creaking as if they could feel the weight through sympathy. Rhea stayed still. Tyrek scoffed, louder this time. She's pretending. Muscle rigidity trick. Rhea didn't speak. She focused on her breathing. Even. Controlled. 3G. The air hummed. The reinforced platform began to vibrate. The crowd grew silent. The instructor hesitated. Human, you may stop. Rhea shook her head. Continue. Tyrek stood now, tone pitched between irritation and disbelief. She's stalling. Increase it. The instructor frowned but complied. 3.5 G. 4G students nearest the platform clutched railings. The gravity field distorted air, bending light. Rhea remained upright, shoulders relaxed. Why isn't she reacting? A student whispered. Tyrek leaned forward. Nobody can stand at 4. Rhea flexed her fingers. Tyrek wanted fear. All he got was stillness. The platform emitted a sharp metallic groan. 4.5 G crack echoed. The viewing students stumbled as the floor under the platform splintered like ice under a heavy boot. Not Rhea. Not her bones. Not her muscles. The platform cracked. Gasps rippled around the hall. Did she break it? No, that's impossible. The instructor killed the field instantly. Rhea stepped off the cracked surface, unshaken. Tyrek stared, pupils contracted. She passed beside him without raising her voice. You were wrong, she whispered. He blinked. About what? Rhea met his eyes, calm, steady, terrifyingly controlled. I wasn't pretending. Then she walked away. The whispers that followed weren't mocking. They were frightened. For the first time, the Academy realized something important. Humans don't survive Deathworlds because they are reckless. They survive because they endure what others can't. The Academy cafeteria resembled an indoor rainforest. Tall, crystalline trees, floating tables, and soft, bioluminescent lighting. Students from more than 60 species gathered for midday meal rotation. Conversations hushed when Rhea walked. And not because of curiosity anymore, because of what they had seen. A human standing under 4.5 times normal. Gravity without strain, while a reinforced platform fractured, was not something easily forgotten. Rhea picked an isolated corner and ate her rationed meal slowly. Her hands were steady. She looked unbothered, but her mind replayed the moment the platform cracked. She hadn't intended to intimidate anyone. She only wanted to complete the evaluation. Yet isolation followed her like a shadow. She was midway through her meal when a tray slammed down across from her. Tyrek, enjoying your moment, Deathworlder? Rhea kept her tone level. I didn't ask for attention. That's the problem, Tyrek replied. You exist, and suddenly everyone is talking about you. She continued eating without looking up. That gravity display? Cute trick, Tyrek said. But endurance is nothing. Combat is everything. Rhea swallowed her bite and wiped her mouth. I don't fight. You don't have to fight, Tyrek said. Just stand on the mat. He leaned in. Unless you're afraid. She met his gaze, gray eyes calm, unreadable. Fear is a survival instinct. I don't reject it. I use it, Tyrek smirked. Then use it in the arena. The cafeteria paused, attention drawn like iron filings to a magnet. Rhea didn't flinch. I have nothing to prove. Oh, you have everything to prove, he replied. After yesterday, the council wants a combat evaluation. When you lose, humanity goes home. They're deciding whether your kind is safe to have here. So that was it. Her place at the Academy depended on a fight she never wanted. Rhea stood. I won't attack you. You don't need to. Tyrek grinned, eyes gleaming with triumph. Just survive me. He turned and strode away, knowing every eye followed him. Rhea stared at her half-finished meal. She didn't eat another bite. The combat simulation hall felt colder than the training arena. Surfaces gleamed like polished steel. The dueling platform was circular, surrounded by observation seats rising into darkness. Students filled every seat. The academy. Staff and 3 council members observed. From the upper balcony, Rhea entered wearing the academy standard. Training uniform. Lightweight, flexible, pale gray. Tyrek wore sleek Zephyrian combat gear that shimmered with active kinetic support. So the Deathworlder came. Tyrek flexed his fingers, joints clicking. "Let's test how dangerous you really are." Rhea took her position. "I'm not here to hurt you." "You won't." The arena lights dimmed and the ring brightened beneath their feet. "Begin." Flashed across the holographic display. Tyrek lunged instantly, faster than a striking hawk. Hollow bones gave Zephyrians unnatural acceleration. His first strike targeted her throat, a disabling move. Rhea sidestepped. He pivoted. Surprised, she predicted the angle. Again. He slashed, faster, sharper, focused to overwhelm. Rhea moved like water, efficient, economical. "No wasted energy! Stand still!" Tyrek snarled. "Standing still gets me hit," she replied. Her voice wasn't mocking. It wasn't emotional, it was simply fact. Tyrek launched a spinning kick, using his long limbs to create space. Rhea ducked beneath it. "You dodge like a coward." "No," she said softly. "I dodge because you're fragile." Tyrek froze mid-motion, offended, insulted, and suddenly aware she wasn't being condescending. She was being literal. Rhea continued. Voice steady, loud enough only for him to hear. "Your bones are hollow. A single direct strike from me could break you. I refuse to injure someone to satisfy their pride." His composure cracked. "You think you're above me?" "No," Rhea answered. "I think you don't understand what you're provoking." Tyrek hissed, Zephyrian instinct taking over, and rushed her again. This time his attack held no control. Wild speed, reckless intensity. Rhea didn't retreat. She stepped into his momentum and caught his wrist mid-strike. Gasps ripped through the hall. Her hand didn't tremble. Tyrek tried to pull free. He couldn't move a millimeter. His eyes widened in actual fear. "What? How?" Rhea spoke quietly, tone firm. "Stop!" "You're bluffing." She increased pressure. Not enough to injure, only enough to demonstrate how little effort she required. The tension left his stance instantly. "You're hurting me," he whispered. "I haven't begun to," she replied. 3 counselors conferred in hushed tones. The hall remained silent, transfixed. "You don't want to fight!" Tyrek accused, voice wavering. "Because you know you'll lose." "No," she said, releasing him. "Because you don't understand restraint." She stepped back. This should have ended it. It didn't. Tyrek roared, a sound ripped from humiliation, and activated the kinetic boosters in his suit. They emitted a sharp whine as they overloaded. He leapt higher than any unassisted being could. He came down from above, aiming a downward strike at the base of her neck. He intended to injure her. Rhea exhaled. Time didn't slow, but her thoughts did. Calculation over panic. Action over panic. She stepped forward, caught his forearm mid-air, and stopped his downward momentum with one arm. The arena fell silent. Rhea looked up at him, suspended in her grip, and said only one word. "Enough!" Then she set him gently on the ground. The hall erupted. Students shouted. Council members stood. Tyrek backed away from her like she was a loaded weapon. "You're—" His voice cracked. Disbelief and terror merging into one. "You're not normal." Rhea didn't answer. Normal had never been part of her life. The counselor in the center chamber spoke through the intercom. "Combat evaluation is complete." Rhea Solis demonstrated restraint. Tyrek Valcor escalated. "Human student is cleared of all misconduct." Tyrek looked as if someone had struck him. "You're protecting her?" "She's dangerous!" "No," the counselor replied. "She is disciplined." "You are dangerous," murmurs grew. Respect replaced fear. Students didn't look at Rhea the way they had yesterday. They looked at her the way prey watches a predator choose not to attack. Rhea stepped off the platform, spine straight, head held high. She didn't wait for applause or acknowledgement. She wasn't here to dominate, she was here to learn. Yet one thought lingered in the hall long after she walked out. If this is what humans can do while holding back, then what happens when they stop? Rumors spread faster than data packets. By morning, every corridor, hover platform, and lecture sphere at Aurora Prime Academy replayed the same sequence of events. Tyrek soaring at Rhea with kinetic boosters flaring, and Rhea, calm, grounded, catching him mid-air like she was plucking a branch from water. The Academy Council held an emergency meeting. Rhea sat in a pressure-balanced chamber, a circular room of transparent walls overlooking the ocean miles below. A soft beeping indicated the session was recording. A hologram flickered to life, footage of the duel from every angle. Not dramatized, not edited, just pure evidence. Tyrek flying, Rhea stepping forward, her hand locking around his forearm. A precise, controlled stop. She didn't look at the screen. She already lived it. Counselor Vesh, a tall insectoid with iridescent wings, adjusted his spectacles. Rhea Solis, we have reviewed the footage. You applied 0 offensive force. Not one strike. Rhea clasped her hands. I tried to avoid confrontation. Counselor Denari, a reptilian with a deep, resonant voice, tilted her head. You restrained him without escalating. That demonstrates discipline rare among Deathworld species. Rhea's shoulders softened slightly. She didn't need praise. She needed permission to stay. Do I remain at the academy? She asked. Council members exchanged looks. Vesh answered, Not only do you remain, you have been granted unrestricted academic access, including advanced courses normally reserved for third-year students. Shock edged her composure. Why? Because you showed balance, Denari replied. Strength without ego. Control without cruelty. Rhea nodded once. Thank you. The door opened. Tyrek stood outside. He looked nothing like the arrogant predator from before. A medical patch wrapped his wrist. His usual confident posture was replaced with something tight, uncertain. Not fear, but confusion. Rhea paused on her way out. Tyrek swallowed hard. You could have humiliated me in front of everyone. I didn't need to. You could have broken my arm. I didn't want to. He stared at the floor, as if searching for something stable under his feet. I misjudged you, he said quietly. Humans, I mean, I thought. Your strength meant you wanted to dominate. Rhea shook her head. Strength is only dangerous when guided by insecurity. Tyrek flinched. That was directed at me. No. Her expression softened, not pitying, patient. That was meant for anyone who believes pain equals power. Tyrek took a breath. Why didn't you fight back? Rhea looked past him toward the ocean outside the glass wall. Because where I come from, everything fights back. The planet itself tries to kill you every day. Violence isn't impressive to humans. Survival is. For the first time, Tyrek didn't have a reply. The following day, Rhea walked into Applied Xenophysics, a class held in a chamber of floating desks. Most students pretended to study their projections, but their glances betrayed curiosity. Halfway through the lecture, a sharp voice cut through the room. Hey, new girl. A large Brontari, stone-skinned, broad-shouldered, easily 2 heads taller than Rhea, blocked her path as she tried to leave class. His rocky jaw flexed with irritation. You embarrassed a Zephyrian. Try that with someone who won't shatter. Rhea exhaled slowly. I don't want trouble. That's the problem, the Brontari boomed. You think you get to choose? He grabbed a smaller student, a pale, translucent Selnari, and pushed him forward. Watch this, the Brontari barked. This is how dominance works. The Selnari trembled, eyes filling with liquid light. Please don't. The Brontari lifted him off the floor by the front of his robe. Rhea's pulse stayed steady, but her posture shifted. Her muscles settled into alignment, spine straight, center low. There was no flash of anger, no visible tension, just decision. She walked toward them. Put him down. The Brontari laughed. Or what? You'll dodge again? Rhea reached them. She didn't posture. She didn't threaten. She simply placed her hand on the Brontari's wrist. He tried to jerk away. His wrist didn't move. I said, she repeated, voice quiet but final. Put him down. You think I'm fragile like that bird-boned idiot? The Brontari spat. Before he could tighten his grip on the smaller student, Rhea applied slight pressure, just enough to redirect force. The Brontari's hand opened involuntarily. The Selnari slipped free and scurried behind her. Rhea didn't raise her voice. She didn't lecture. Strength isn't about proving you can hurt someone. Her eyes never left the Brontari. It's about proving you don't have to. The Brontari stared at her, realizing she hadn't shown even half of what she could do. He stepped back. All around them, students watched, not with fear, with recognition. Humans weren't dangerous because they were violent. Humans were dangerous because they chose not to be. Later that night, Rhea sat alone on the academy rooftop, legs dangling over the transparent edge. The twin moons cast silver ribbons over the ocean. She finally allowed herself a breath that wasn't measured. The door slid open behind her. Tyrek approached slowly. Most students avoid this spot. The height makes them dizzy. Earth has mountains taller than this building, Rhea replied. He sat a cautious distance away. Today, with the Brontari... Tyrek stopped, searching for the right words. You didn't hesitate. I had seen that kind of cruelty before, Rhea said. Different planet. Same instinct, he frowned. How do humans live like that? Rhea finally looked at him. We adapt. Tyrek considered that. Do you ever wish you were born somewhere easier? No, she smiled faintly. Pressure shapes strength. He let the silence settle. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was acknowledgement. You know, Tyrek said slowly, your presence will change this academy. Rhea tilted her head. How? Because power paired with humility, he said, is something we were never taught to respect. She stood. Then I'll teach you. Tyrek looked up at her. No humiliation. No resentment, just a new understanding. What are humans, really? He asked. Rhea turned toward the night sky. Stars reflected in her eyes. We are the species that learned to thrive on a world that tried to kill us. She walked back toward the stairwell. And we learned mercy because strength without it destroys everything. As the door closed behind her, Tyrek whispered into the empty rooftop. Humanity wasn't supposed to be this strong. He wasn't afraid anymore. He was in awe. The alarm struck in the middle of the night. Not the usual academy chime used for schedule changes or safety drills. This one carried a deeper resonance, vibrating through the walls like a heartbeat out of sync. Intrusion alert. All students report to safe zones. This is not a drill. Rhea jerked upright from her bunk, boots hitting the floor before her mind fully caught up. The academy corridors glowed in emergency red. Holographic directional arrows flickered, guiding students toward reinforced shelters. She stepped into the hallway just as Tyrek appeared from the opposite end, panic tightening his features. Rhea, there's been a breach. What kind of breach? She asked, already moving. We don't know. Something bypassed orbital security. The Council has activated containment protocols. Rhea paused at a junction where the emergency light reflected off her face. She didn't feel fear. She felt calculation. Which direction? Rhea, didn't you hear the announcement? Tyrek's voice cracked. We need to go to the safe zone. Something got through Academy security. She started down the forbidden corridor instead. They won't trap me in a shelter. Tyrek swore under his breath and chased after her. They reached the observation deck overlooking the lower cargo hangar. On the ground floor, 8 armored security officers surrounded a containment unit the size of a small transport pod. The pod hissed. The walls folded outward, students who had followed. Behind, Rhea gasped as something rose from the pod, tall, muscled, plated with blackened carapace that looked like fused armor. Its eyes burned gold like molten metal trapped behind glass. Rhea knew the species instantly. Kruli war-bred mutant. They were engineered for siege warfare. Impervious skin, Strength beyond biological limits. Total emotional void. The Academy wasn't under random threat. Someone had sent a creature designed for one purpose: eliminate the human. The mutant scanned the room and then spoke in a low, mechanical growl. Target: Deathworld human. Locate Tyrex's skin drained of color. It's here for you. Rhea rested her palms on the railing, eyes narrowing. Not the Academy. Just me. The creature hurled a guard across the room without effort. Students screamed. Tyrex grabbed her arm. You can't fight that. Its muscles are reinforced with, I know what it is. It was built to take down fortified units. Rhea released his grip, jaw tightening. Then I won't be a unit. The containment bay erupted into chaos. Students scattered. Rhea vaulted over the railing and dropped 3 stories, landing in a crouch that reverberated through the deck. The Kruli turned toward her. Target acquired. It charged. Rhea sprinted toward a support pillar and used it as leverage, pushing herself upward. She grabbed the outer scaffolding of a suspended crate and swung across. The mutant leapt and smashed through the pillar she had. Stood on seconds earlier, dust filled the air. Rhea landed behind it. You were sent by someone who fears what I represent. The mutant swung a fist the size of Rhea's entire torso. She ducked, rolled, and slid beneath a collapsed beam. Human biological advantage, adaptive problem-solving, countermeasure, override. It tore the beam off the floor and hurled it at her. She dove. Metal crashed where she had stood. Then she saw the exposed hydraulic power line, a silver whip snaking down the wall, pulsing with pressure. An idea struck. Tyrex! She shouted up at the observation deck. Distract it! Tyrex blinked. How? It eats plasma. Just get its attention. He hesitated only a moment before grabbing an overhead light and smashing it against the railing. The mutant looked up. Tyrex yelled, voice cracking. Hey! Over here! My bones are hollow. I'm basically an appetizer. The Kruli redirected, climbing toward the observation deck. Perfect. Rhea sprinted toward the exposed hydraulic line, ripped the emergency valve loose, and yanked the pressurized hose free. High, pressure coolant blasted outward. She jumped onto the descending support crane, swung down its cable, and wrapped the hose around the mutant's throat. The coolant, supercooled anti-flux, hit its armored plates. Frost bloomed across the creature's carapace. Rhea slammed her elbow into the pressurized valve. The coolant ignited into a freezing burst. The Kruli froze mid-motion. Muscles locking, Rhea planted both feet, gripped the hose, and pulled with everything she had. The frozen carapace cracked. The mutant collapsed, in shards of armor and shattered ice. Silence. Then a roar of shock and relief from above. Tyrex slid down a maintenance ladder and rushed to her. He stared at the shattered creature, at the frost vapor dissipating around her. You took down a Kruli war mutant with a coolant hose. Rhea wiped frost from her cheek. Earth has colder winters. Tyrex choked on a laugh, but the relief didn't last long. The council stormed in, accompanied by armed guards. The room swarmed with medics and forensic bots. Counselor Denari approached. Rhea Solis. The mutant was not random. Someone delivered it with clearance codes. Tyrex stepped forward. Who would do that? Someone threatened by humans, Denari replied. Rhea's pulse slowed. Not fear. Recognition. Earth had been climbing in influence. Faster research gains, breakthroughs in physics, rumors of warfront victories, a threat to someone. Denari lowered her voice. The council offers immediate evacuation back to Earth. Rhea's expression sharpened. You're sending me away? No. We're asking if you want to leave. She looked down at the shards of the creature sent to kill her. I came here to learn, she said. Not to run. Tyrex nodded once, standing beside her. She stays. We protect our own. Denari's gaze shifted between them, between predator and ally, between evolution and humility. Then understand this, the counselor said softly. Your presence here will change the galaxy. Rhea met her eyes. Good. Later that night, Rhea sat alone in the training hall. The weight field was off. The platform was still cracked from her first day. Tyrek leaned against the doorway. You know what the Council realized today? What? Humanity doesn't dominate through power. Rhea looked up, curious. You dominate through choice. She walked past him, stopping at the edge of the broken gravity platform. No, she said. We survive through choice. Then she turned to him, voice steady, unshaken. And survival? Terrifies empires.